It is.
Can't hear you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. It is so great to have a full house here, and the County Council is so pleased to be here. I'd like to call to order this special meeting here on Thursday, April 18th, for the special District Number 5 meeting of the Pierce County Council. The time is 6:31 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Campbell.
Here.
Councilmember Krueger.
Excused.
Councilmember Denson.
Here.
Councilmember Herrera.
Here.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Here.
Councilmember Morrell.
Here.
And Councilmember Mello.
Here.
There are 6 members present, Mr. Chair.
We have 6 members present and a quorum. Please join us in the land acknowledgement and pledge of allegiance to the flag and a moment of silence dedicated to the men and women serving overseas in the military, led by Vice Chair Campbell.
Let's all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chair. For the land acknowledgement, we acknowledge that we are on the traditional homeland of the Coast Salish tribes. Coast Salish people have lived on and stewarded these lands since time immemorial and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one small step towards true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Campbell. Again, it is such a treat to be out of the County City Building and in the community here at Vice Chair Campbell's District Number 5 in-district meeting. It really is the highlight of our time when we get to go to every single council meetings, in-district meeting, and see what they have planned and meet neighbors. Before we move on, I'd like to call on our Deputy Legal Counsel, Mr. Cox, to explain the purpose of why we find ourselves here doing this in-district meeting.
Yes, be happy to do so, Chair Mello. So, as you know, Pierce County Charter Section 2.30 provides that the council shall conduct at least one evening meeting each year in each council district. And that is, this District 5 meeting is the in-district meeting that satisfies that charter requirement.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. And it is also tradition that when we go out in district that we have the council member whose district we're in to chair the meeting. So I'm going to hand the gavel over to Vice Chair Campbell to chair the rest of his in-district meeting. Vice Chair Campbell.
All right. Thank you, Chair. You're not getting that back tonight. Thank you, everyone, for having us out here. This is actually my second, but the first in district when I first came on council in 2019 was out here also. So I'm glad to be coming back here. That's when my assistant was Mark Williams, came out and got this set up. I know many of you remember and worked with Mark for many years. And so he made sure this was the first place we came to. So I'm glad to be back. At this time, I would like to ask council members to introduce themselves in the area that they represent. And so we'll just come right on down the line. We'll start with Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Good afternoon or evening, everybody. I'm Janie Hitchin. I represent District 6, and what that means is I cover Lakewood, DuPont, Steilacoom, Ketron, Anderson, and McNeil Island, and Joint Base Lewis McChord, and then my home, the PLU side, for those of you that are not Cardinal direction people, the PLU side of Parkland is my home and part of the district. I share Parkland very nicely with Councilmember Campbell. Sometimes we debate which side is best, but I won't get into that debate tonight. And just pleasure to be here this evening. Thank you.
My name is Dave Morrell. I am council member for District 1. District 1 is basically East Pierce County. I've got part of unincorporated South Hill. I've got Graham. I've got Ording. I've got South Prairie, Wilkeson, Carbonado, a couple of ghost towns, Merrimont and Fairfax. And then I go to Buckley, Bonnie Lake, Lake Tapps, and then I jump over Enumclaw to Greenwater, and I've got the only ski resort in Pierce County, which is Crystal Mountain. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Again, my name's Ryan Mello, serve as Chair of the Council this year, and I have the honor of representing District Chair when we're not in an in-district meeting, and represent District number 4, which includes the communities of University Place, Fircrest, and parts of Tacoma. I share East Tacoma and South End Tacoma with Councilmember Campbell, and I represent South Tacoma, Hilltop, and downtown. Thanks for having us.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Hura, and I'm from District 2, and that's Edgewood, Milton, Sumner, Puyallup, and South Hill. And it's good to be out here tonight, and hopefully the weather holds out so y'all can go to the spring fair at the Washington State Fair, and the farmers market in Puyallup starts this weekend. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Denson, and I represent District 7, which is North Tacoma, part of West Tacoma, the town of Ruston, and then everything on the other side of the Narrows Bridge, so Gig Harbor, Fox Island, and the lovely Key Peninsula. Thanks for having us.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming here to the 5th District. And again, my name is Marty Campbell, representing the 5th District. And with redistricting, we start all the way up at Dash Point, Browns Point, Northeast Tacoma, Fife Heights, Fife down Riverside, and then, of course, into the lovely Summit Waller area. And thank you to the Summit Waller Community Association for being out here tonight. We all go down to Collins, Clover Creek, and then share Parkland, Midland, and East Tacoma, where I live, just up off 64th and Waller. So love the area here. Thank you all for being here and coming out. I think we got a really good program for tonight. Before we go on much more, I do want staff, if staff could go ahead and introduce themselves on down the line here.
Yes, my name is Jeff Cox, and I'm Senior Policy Analyst.
Hello, I'm Denise Johnson, the Clerk to the Council.
Good evening, Brian Dominique. I'm the Communications Manager for the Council.
Good evening, I'm Jair Winesberry, Communications Coordinator.
Good evening, my name is Julie Murray, and I'm the Chief of Staff for the Council.
All right, and they support the council in the work that we do day in and day out. And then I have, of course, my assistant, Sabrina Chemelier, who helped put all this together. A big thank you to Sabrina, if we can give her a round of applause. And I want to make sure we thank our friends with PCTV and the Pierce County Sheriff's Office here today. So thank you very much. And yes, and Bill Vetter, also with the council staff, who will be presenting a little bit later today. Did I miss anyone else? All right, you wouldn't want to miss anyone, would you, Dave? So thank you all very much for coming out. And before us now, we have approval of the agenda. We are now at Section 4, approval of our agenda. Are there any objections to approving today's agenda as presented? Seeing none, seeing no objection, the agenda is approved. On today's council agenda, there will be opportunity for public comment under community forum, where you may address the council on any topic that's not on today's agenda. For information on the rules for public participation, please review the bottom of page 1 of today's agenda. Next up, we have consent agenda. There are no items on the consent agenda this evening. We'll move on to messages from the executive, judges, prosecuting attorney, and we have none from them either. Next up, proclamations, recognitions, and awards. A proclamation of the Pierce County Council and Executive proclaiming the month of May 2024 as Older Americans Month in Pierce County, Washington. And today proclaims the month of May 2024 as Older American Month in Pierce County, and I'd like to invite our recipient, Bunny Smith, Executive Director of the Mid-County Community Center, to the podium as I read the proclamation into the record. Can everyone hear me okay, or is it, okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure that, what's that? Barely, all right. Let me get in a little bit closer there. Does that work better for everyone? All right, sorry about that. Proclamation of the Pierce County Council and Executive proclaiming the month of May 2024 as Older American Months in Pierce County, Washington. Whereas, since 1963, May is annually recognized as Older Americans Month, and according to the Administration for Community Living, this year's theme is Powered by Connection, which recognizes the profound impact that meaningful relationships and social connections have on our health and well-being. And whereas adults 60 years of age and older make up nearly 21% of Pierce County's total population, and we know that social and civic participation and social inclusion are important for the health and livability of the community, enabling its members to age in place. And whereas older adults are the pillars of our community, and we owe it to them to value their wisdom, celebrate their contributions, and champion their well-being according to an AARP report, Beyond 50.05, a report of the nation on livable communities, creating environments, and successful aging. Aging in place promotes life satisfaction, a positive quality of life and self-esteem, all of which are needed to remain happy, healthy, and well into old age. And whereas in Pierce County, a broad network of community-based organizations, including senior centers, provide a wide range of services to meet the needs of older adults, such as healthy meals, food banks, opportunities for engagement, recreational, social, community action, health and wellness programming, and information and access to other services and supports that help local older adults to successfully age in place. And whereas Pierce County Aging and Disability Resources Program, working in collaboration with our professional partners, offers long-term services to support the Pierce County residents to ensure our seniors and disabled adults are provided with the necessary assistance to remain healthy, safe, and financially stable in their homes, and supplies them and their family members with the help they need for long-term care planning in the event that remaining at home is no longer a viable option. And whereas Pierce County Council and the Pierce County Executive recognize the need to create a livable, age-friendly community that offers older adults the opportunity to healthily age in place, we honor our seniors whose lifetime of hard work and devotion to family and commitment to community have laid the foundation for the county and the country we are today. Whereas we urge every resident to join us in celebrating and recognizing the contributions of Pierce County's older citizens and promoting programs and activities that foster connection, inclusion, and support for older adults. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on this, the 18th day of April 2024 by the Pierce County Council and the County Executive that May 2024 is Older Americans Month in Pierce County, Washington.
Thank you, Councilmember Campbell. You know, really my journey with older adults started with my grandmother. I was one of her caregivers, one of her alternate caregivers. She had Alzheimer's, then she developed Parkinson's, and she had a lot of struggles. And she smiled, and she woke up with hope every day, and she enjoyed the small moments that came her way. Really, when I started working here, that's what I saw, is we have all of this. Literally, we have this building because of the hard work of the seniors that came at that time, that pooled their resources and bought the land and got the building built. We have the structures in society that we have today because of the hard work that have come from the generations before us. And so if we have an opportunity to be able to alleviate some of those stressors that they have, some of those struggles that they have, even if we can just, again, help them find that hope or that smile, that's exactly what we're here for. That's what, I believe in personally. That's what I definitely do professionally, and I appreciate you recognizing that and just recognizing the absolute amazing people that we get to serve every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments from my colleagues here? Just kind of raise your hand. Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I think I'm working. Thank you for all you do in this community, and I just want to acknowledge and thank the Mid-County Community Center and Association. During the pandemic, we saw senior centers trying to figure out how to engage and support seniors when they were isolating at home, and you developed a whole bunch of different ways to engage the seniors in this community and help them stay social and active, which helped them come out of COVID stronger. And I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you for that work, because it was hard work, and the rules kept changing for lots of different reasons as COVID changed, and you just kept at it. You kept going, how do I do this in a health and safe way for my seniors and yet still meet their needs so they can stay healthy and safe? So thank you.
Any other comments? All right. Thank you very much for all the work that you do here at the Mid-County Senior Center. I know I've been out here to visit a few times, and I've talked with lots of people who come here on a regular basis, and they talk about how much it really changes their experiences day to day and the social connections. And so I want to thank all of our senior centers for the work that you did, and I know you assisted many others. You really, among our senior centers, set the standard for the county. And so I really appreciate that, and am happy to be doing this proclamation to make sure that we do remind that we need to make sure the next generation values what our seniors have, what they know, the contributions, and to know the stories. Had an opportunity last weekend. My parents came and visited, and we got to sit around a bonfire and listen to my dad tell stories. Turns out he had a stepbrother we didn't know about until I turned to my brother. I was like, did you know that? No. So you never know what you're going to find out when you're sitting around with senior and talking, and most importantly, listening, because I think we have a duty to listen to a lot of that. And it is amazing, some of the stories and stuff that he was able to get away with that we weren't allowed to get away with. So we'd like to thank you. We'd like to have you come up here and take a photo, but I'm wondering if there's a way we could kind of involve everyone in the photo. And maybe we can turn around and have all of you kind of right there behind us, and we'll take it as a photo of everyone here, since we're celebrating older Americans and we have so many here in the crowd. All right. Mr. Dominique, if you can help set that up.
Yes.
Okay. Chair, you need to help him. All right, I got it. All right, 1, 2, 3. We'll take one more. 1, 2. Awesome. right, and that has us moving on to the agenda to ordinances and resolutions, of which we have done, which brings us to other business and announcements, which brings Bunny right back up. Bunny Smith with Mid-County Community Center, Executive Director, with welcome remarks and an update on what's happening here at the Mid-County Community Center.
Absolutely, it's my privilege. So again, hello and welcome to the Mid-County Community Center. My name is Bunny Smith, and I've had the privilege of being the director here for almost 17 years. But for almost 50 years, the Mid-County Community Center has been providing a broad range of programs and services which meet the changing needs of older adults in Mid-Pierce County, enhancing lives and uniting the community. The center was started through the efforts of the Mid-County area seniors back in the mid-'70s. They held fundraisers, they donated their own money, they pooled their resources, and they bought the land that the center was built on. Then they worked with Pierce County to get the funding and get this center built. We realize and appreciate that there is limited public facilities in the Mid-County area, so we included the uniting the community unity in our mission as a way to remind us that we need to be that resource. So we have different organizations such as the Mid-County Advisory Council, the Summit Waller Community Association, the Waller Road Neighborhood Watch, the local chapter of the Old Time Fiddlers Association, and many more that actually use our space also so that we can continue to be that unity in our community. Senior centers. Oh, next slide, please. Senior centers are recognized gateways to help connect seniors with needed programs. Many of the federally funded programs, such as senior meal site lunches, fall prevention activities, and chronic disease management workshops, they rely on senior centers to help bring these needed services into our communities and to the seniors that need them most. So senior centers are one of the most widely used services among America's older adults. Today, more than 11,000 senior centers serve more than 1 million older adults every single day. In 2023, the Mid-County Community Center served 593 people and provided over 25,000 individual services. So what are some of the most common challenges for older adults according to the National Coalition on Aging? Chronic disease. Older adults are disproportionately affected by chronic conditions such as diabetes, arthritis, and heart disease. So as I mentioned with my grandmother and the struggles that I saw her having, studies actually show that almost 95% of older adults have at least one chronic disease, and almost 80% have 2 or more. So the struggle is real. Also falling. 1 in 3 older adults fall each year. And yet, sadly, falls are preventable. They also have poor nutrition. 16% of independent older adults are at high risk for malnutrition, and that number is even higher for those that are in healthcare settings. They also face economic insecurity. Roughly 1 in 3 older adults, age 65 plus, are economically insecure. And they have behavioral health issues. 20% of people age 55 or older experience some type of mental health concern, including isolation, anxiety, and depression. And I think all of us saw that the pandemic really highlighted how devastating isolation is for our older adults. So realistically, health and happiness is at the heart of the senior centers. We believe in reducing social isolation is vital, and it improves behavioral health and creates a needed safety net for our older adults. Services such as our lunch program and food bank help improve nutritional health and help strengthen our seniors' economic security. Evidence-based and other popular exercise programs reduce fall risks and can help improve their chronic conditions. And low-cost programs are critical to remove barriers and allow all older adults to improve their health and happiness. As you'll see through our list of program offerings, we prioritize programs that truly make a difference in these issues that seniors face. We also strive to make these programs as affordable as possible. In fact, many of our programs are either free or on a donation-only basis. Next slide, please. Programs we offer include a nutritional education, food bank, meal site lunches, senior foot care program, immunizations clinics, free blood pressure checks, a senior yoga program, sail exercise, refresh fitness, lifeline screenings, Tai Chi Chuan, moving for better balance, line dancing programs, Red Hatters groups, musical programs, pinochle, next slide, concerts, AARP safe driving classes, a book club, a tech help workshop, Danny Vernon benefit concerts. If you notice that there's a lot of Elvis stuff around the room, he's a local Elvis impersonator and is always a big hit, and we are gearing up for our next benefit fundraising concert next month on May 17th. So tickets are available, and when I get to the last slide, it'll have our contact info, so any of you guys watching out there, we'd love to get you some tickets. We also have a watch sales and repair program, arts and crafts programs, special events such as our sock hop, which is always fun, a resource and referral center, senior wellness fair, educational seminars, bingo and ice cream social, twice a month. It was once a month, and they just didn't have enough bingo, so now it's twice a month. Potluck and game night every month, and then we also have a medical equipment and supplies loaner program. Next slide. So we've served seniors, when I went back and crunched the numbers for last year, we served seniors from 48 zip codes in 2023, primarily from within Pierce County. So it's become much more common, even in the 17 years that I've worked here. More recently, it's become much more common for seniors to attend more than one senior center. They may come here for our really great lunches, then attend another one that has a program that I don't offer. So we really learned, and as Councilmember Campbell said, I work with a lot of the other senior centers, because by collaborating together, we're going to help our seniors get the most benefits from the senior services that we have available. Next slide. So speaking of our delicious lunches, we served over 9,000 delicious and nutritious meals last year. And our lunch program not only increases our seniors' nutritional health, but it also provides a warm and welcoming environment for them to meet new people and make new friends. We have had one of the highest attended meal site programs in our area for years. We attribute this to serving meals that are both nutritious and delicious in a welcoming atmosphere that is much more reminiscent of going out to eat than the typical institutional type meal that most people expect. We also have the best and friendliest seniors in all of Pierce County. And they are so welcoming and kind, they make it easy for people to come in, meet new people, and make new friends. And in our health and fitness programs, we had 315 unduplicated older adults who participated a total of almost 6,000 times in our health and fitness programs last year. So that's 6,000 times where we helped them to reduce their risk for falls, help to manage their chronic conditions, and help them to make friends and have fun at the same time. In fact, we have one of the longest running SAIL classes in Pierce County at 16 years and still going strong. SAIL, which stands for Stay Active and Independent for Life, is one of the highest tiered evidence-based fall prevention fitness programs and is proven to help reduce falls, the risk for falls with older adults. Our Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance program is a program based on Tai Chi and was also created and is evidence-based to be a fall prevention fitness program. Next slide. Oh, there it is. Our partners make the difference. Really, our partners help us provide programming, education, transportation, socialization, creativity, and of course, fun. Really, at the heart of every senior center, it really just should be fun. Because if it's not fun, they're not going to come back. And if they don't come back, they're not doing all the happy, healthy things we want them to do. So really, of course, fun. Without our partners, we would not be able to provide all the help and support to our seniors that they need and deserve. We partner with agencies and organizations throughout Pierce County and within our Mid-County community to help bring benefit to our seniors and to our community as a whole. Pierce County especially has been an incredibly important partner for us throughout the years, from helping to have the center built, helping us maintain the facility, and helping to fund our programs. We also work with a number of different county departments to provide needed education and services. Really, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for helping us help our seniors to be healthier and happier and to age in place. Thank you.
All right, let me see if I have any questions from any of my colleagues here, or comments. Councilmember Denton.
Well, as you're listing all of those activities, I'm thinking y'all are having way more fun than I am. That is amazing. I don't know how you fit all of that into your schedule. And good on all the seniors out there for getting out and taking advantage of it, because, you know, sometimes, especially if you're in a newer community or you're looking around for different types of programs, you know, it does mean opening yourself up and meeting new people, and I think that's can be a challenge for people of all ages. I know it's a challenge for me, so good job, and it's just so important that, you know, we're all supporting each other in this journey. So thank you for all your hard work. I had a question. I don't know if you have the answer to it, but one of the things that you said shocked me when you were talking about nutrition, and you said that the poorest nutrition was found amongst seniors in healthcare settings. You would think that would be the place they would be getting the best nutrition. Can you elaborate at all on that?
So what I read when I was on the National Coalition on Aging had an excellent article on malnutrition and nutrition deficiencies with seniors. And by the time they're moved into a healthcare fit setting, they are not as capable of the activities of daily living as they are when they're living independently. So realistically, again, when those struggles start to compound, and keeping in mind 95% have at least one chronic condition, almost 80% have two or more, really that honestly becomes much more of a problem, I think, the more that piles on.
Well, again, thank you so much for helping keep all of our seniors healthy, and thanks to all of you who participate in these programs and make them so much fun.
Thank you.
Councilmember Denton, I'm sure you would be welcome to come out and call bingo one night if you wanted to.
I was thinking more about the ice cream social, but bingo's fun too.
Well, it was bingo and ice cream social.
All right, I'm here.
It's a twofer.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, again, thank you so much for the work that you do to serve seniors here in the Mid-County area. I know that really senior centers and funding them has become a priority for this council. We've been working through a lot. We thank you very much for your inputs on it. It's been critical. You folks are lucky you have the best senior center manager in the entire Puget Sound. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have from Pierce County's Aging and Disability Services and Aging and Disability Resources Advisory Board, Aaron Van Valkenburg, and our Pierce County Aging and Disability Resources Division Manager. And Aaron, please come up and share a little bit of what Pierce County does.
Thank you. I'm glad to do that. Good evening, council members. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Van Valkenburg. I work for Pierce County. I work for the Human Services Department, and it's my privilege to lead the Aging and Disability Resources Division. So this is our kind of meeting tonight. This is great to be here. Thank you for the invitation to share a few things and present tonight, and thank you for the wonderful proclamation that highlights the importance and the value of older adults in our community. Can't tell you how much that means, I'm sure, to all of us in this room, so thank you very much for doing that tonight. I just wanted to share a couple things. I know I just have a few minutes, but I do have a presentation just to go through with a couple slides. I wanted to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do and how we fit into this picture of services here in Pierce County. And I can't really talk about who we are without explaining, sorry, next slide, what an area agency on aging is, because that is what we are. We're called Aging and Disability Resources, but our formal designation is we are a AAA. We're an area agency on aging. That terminology comes out of the Federal Older Americans Act, and there's a AAA actually in every county in the United States. In Washington State, there are 13, and we are one of them. And we are specific just to Pierce County, but as a AAA, we have an emphasis on working with older adults and adults with disabilities. And if you're interested, the federal definition of an older adult is somebody over the age of 60 is how that's defined by the Administration for Community Living. A lot of our programs, though, we do serve adults with disabilities ages 18 and older. And our mission is listed up there, but we are really all about ensuring that there's a coordinated network of services and supports for older adults and adults with disabilities to help them remain in their community and to support where they want to be. And for most people, that means being at home. And so a lot of what we do is really geared around that idea of helping people to have the services and supports they need to stay in their own home when that's their desire. Next slide. Just one thing about our role, and I kind of mentioned this, we're responsible for this local planning and coordination and really administering state and federal grant funds and make sure that there's a comprehensive system for long-term services and supports in Pierce County. A really big part of what we do is a strategic planning process that in our world is called an area plan. It's a 4-year plan that looks at the needs of our local community, and it has very specific goals and objectives to meet the needs of older adults and adults with disabilities in our community. So we go through a very, we think, public and transparent process as an area agency and agent to plan for our community. Next slide. This has been referenced already once tonight in the proclamation, and I won't spend a lot of time here. I think we all know that we are in the midst of an age wave where there are more older adults in our community. And I'm always careful when I talk about this. I do not want to present this as a problem. This is not a problem to be solved. This is a wonderful opportunity. That first bullet up there is kind of small, but it says there's a growing number of seniors and adults with disabilities who enrich our community through their diverse life experiences, and we are thankful that this age wave demographic is happening. It was mentioned in the proclamation that right now currently about 21% of Pierce County residents are over the age of 60, and the graphic shows there those bars going up. By 2030 is the estimate that we will be at about 25% of the Pierce County population over the age of 60, or 1 in 4 residents. Next slide. So getting into a little bit about the what we do, we certainly don't do anything alone. We can't, and we don't even try. We rely on some really wonderful partners in the community. We have 85 unique contracts with 65 different agencies in Pierce County to provide just a wealth of different services. And I've listed some examples up there of names that are probably familiar to most of us: Catholic Community Services, KWA, Lutheran Community Services Northwest, Multi-Care Behavioral Health, Hope Sparks, Northwest Justice Project. And I didn't list all the senior centers, but you heard from a fabulous one tonight in Mid-County. We have wonderful senior center partners that we work with in the Pierce County community. We also have a very active and engaged 15-member advisory board. And if it's okay, I just wanted to have our advisory board chair, Sarah Thompson, is here, and I thought she could just introduce herself and just say a word to you or two. They are such an important part of what we do and so ingrained in our work, and we're thankful for our advisory board members. So, Sarah.
I'll be really quick, but I came up here from the Key Peninsula, and it took me an hour, and I thought, I'm going to say a few words. So first, it's just been an honor to serve on the board. We serve 4-year terms, and I just started as chair this year. I think mostly I'm just so impressed with what ADR does. The staff is incredibly thoughtful, and the board is really engaged. I mean, they really want to know what we think and are incredibly responsive, and can't imagine better people to work with looking over those of us as we get old. The only other thing is, like 60 just doesn't seem that old to me. So, like I'm a retired family doctor, and I remember learning about old age, and there's sort of the young old and the middle old and the old, and I'm, I think, in the middle old stages right now. Still really actively volunteering and feeling very engaged, and I'm also just grateful to know that as I get to my old stage, that our senior centers and the ADR will be there to support me and others as we age in place. So anyway, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sarah, and also thank you to just all our advisory board members who help support us. They are amazing. Next slide on to services. I just want to point out that we do a lot of different things. We have 23 kind of distinct service categories, and too many to list on one slide, but I put some examples up there of some of the really important things that we do. I'll just home delivered meals, older adult counseling services, our aging and disability resource center. I'm going to speak to that in just a moment. Senior legal support, Medicaid case management nursing services is a really big part of what we do. We are providing case management services to 6,000 individuals in Pierce County who are receiving their long-term care services at home instead of a residential type setting. Family caregiver support services, the senior farmers market, the voucher program there, and our long-term care ombudsman are just examples of some of the really important things that we do in the community. Next slide. I mentioned state and federal grants previously. There's just some examples here of our primary fund sources. We are almost exclusively grant funded. That funding comes to us through DSHS, through a division of DSHS called Aging and Long-Term Support Administration. And the Older Americans Act is federal money that flows to us through our relationship with the state. There's a Senior Citizen Services Act dollars, which is state general fund. Our Family Caregiver Support Program is funded by a combination of state and federal dollars. Medicaid is, of course, a combination of state and federal dollars. And then we do administer county general fund for senior centers in Pierce County, and we are grateful for that investment. Total budget's about $31 million per year. We have 154 employees in the Aging and Disability Resources Division. Next slide. So I don't have time to talk about all of our services. I wish I could. But I just wanted to mention, I think, a couple things that I hope feel pertinent tonight. And that is just how you access any of our services. And that, for us, is through something we call our Aging and Disability Resource Center, or the ADRC. That's really the central point for everything that we do. We don't have separate numbers for meal programs and for legal services. It's just 253-798-4600. That's the front door to resources and services. We try as best we can to provide unbiased information there. We don't do everything, and so a lot of what we do is referring to some of our wonderful community partners. But there are 4 full-time case managers who staff those lines and take calls live. It's not just always a simple kind of quick hitter call of somebody looking for a number. I mean, that happens sometimes, and we do field those kind of calls. But a lot of what we do is more of like an options counseling, a person-centered model where they're having a deeper dive discussion about the needs in that person's life, and then knowing what they know about resources. Is there something they could connect them with to meet that need? 10,000 calls answered live in 2023, I guess over 10,000. We also have a very highly utilized website and resource directory at pierceadrc.org. The reasons why people call us are probably not going to surprise anybody in this room. We've listed some of the top ones there: access to health care, housing, transportation, energy assistance, legal assistance. Those are the things that people call us about, among other things, but those are some of the more dominant themes. Next slide, please. These next couple ones are just kind of, I guess you could call them like tenants or subdivisions of our ADRC. We have something that we call general case management, which is a service when the call center has done a really good job of talking to somebody and kind of screening through the issues, but maybe there's just something more there. Or maybe the thing that a person called about maybe isn't the primary issue. Maybe there's a need for someone to go out in the home and lay eyes on the situation if the client's agreeable and having a conversation, and that's what this service does. So we visit clients' homes. We have 5 full-time case management staff that do these kind of visits. And this relationship can be short-term or long-term, just depending on what a person needs. It could be out there helping them fill out an application for a service, and then maybe we're moving on to the next situation. But often these turn into more long-term relationships where maybe for weeks, months, or even years where we're continuing to support somebody somebody in the community. Again, those referrals come through the phone line generally where there's just a need for someone to go out and see them in person. These case managers do have access to a couple things that they can authorize directly. Some personal care services with like activities of daily living. They can authorize a personal emergency response button, or like a lifeline button it's often called. And they can actually do purchases for food and household items for clients in need as well. So that's general case management. And the next slide just kind of highlights something that we call family caregiver support, which is also kind of an appendage to our Aging and Disability Resource Center. And I just highlight this here because unpaid family caregivers are the unsung heroes of our community and really the backbone of our community. These are people that are taking care of family members just because that's what you do. They're not paid, they're not compensated, and often maybe don't even identify as a caregiver. They're just doing something because it's what you do for someone you love. We do encounter this situation a lot where people are calling in about something and it turns out there's a caregiving relationship, and so this often can turn into a referral to the Family Caregiver Support Program where we can provide supportive services to the caregiver. And in this program, the client really is the caregiver. The big one there is respite. You can provide relief from primary caregiving responsibilities by having somebody else step in temporarily to take that burden off that caregiver. So that's definitely the biggest piece of this program is respite, but we do a lot of other things in that program in terms of just additional information, referrals. We can also purchase adaptive equipment, supplies, anything we can do to make that caregiver's role easier is what this program is all about, to help that person avoid burnout and themselves experiencing kind of disproportionate, health outcomes and other things because they don't have time to take care of themselves. So that's Family Caregiver Services, another really wonderful service that we're able to offer in Pierce County. Next slide. I couldn't have a conversation with talking about our services without talking about community outreach. This is something that is a very big deal to us. All of these things that I've shared tonight are meaningless unless you know they exist, right? And so we spend a lot of time and investment in trying to spread the word out in the community, and I know it's not enough, but we have 2 full-time community outreach and engagement specialists who are out in the community, I was going to say every day, and it's pretty much every day. We are at workshops, health fairs, community meetings. We are everywhere and anywhere we can find an audience. We have really wonderful partners who have signed letters of collaboration with us where we've agreed and put it in writing and kind of a non-binding agreement that, but we're just going to be good partners. We're going to train each other, the staff, on how to make referrals back and forth. We're going to work together in different outreach collaborations, just some really good, wonderful ADRC partners. And then last year, we sponsored or participated in 287 outreach events between those 2 individuals. And one of them is here tonight. Matt Santelli is with us, who a lot of people know Matt, and Matt is a legend and he's amazing. But I just for a second wanted to turn the mic to him. Our next slide talks about some of our recurring community events, and Matt, I think, can give you a little flavor of how important his role is in the community.
Great, thank you, Arian, and thanks, council members, for inviting us tonight. Yeah, I do community engagement, education, and outreach. I have a table there in the corner. Some people have already stopped, and please more stop when we're done to get information about the programs and services that we offer to keep our seniors and disabled adults healthy, safe, financially stable at home. It's all about community engagement, and the Older Americans Month theme is powered by Connection, and on the screen are some of our big highlight events that happen during the course of the year, and this is the first year that all of them are happening again live. So happy about that. Being during the COVID years, being a community education and outreach person and staring at a screen all day and trying to move events that should be happening live on screen, it's like a breath of fresh air. My job feels just amazing the last couple of years, building back that ability to engage people in person where it really does need to happen, because we know how dangerous social isolation is to our older adults. So we start the year in connecting our seniors at our Grand Cinema Film Series. It's January, February, March. We show a free movie with a mature older adult theme. They can come down to the Grand for free Saturday morning, second Saturday of those months, 10 a.m. They get a free popcorn, and it's all about fellowship and then getting them out in a safe environment. And our biggest, most loyal group has been from one of the senior centers. Graham Kapowsin Senior Center have attended all 6 movies going back to 2023, and anywhere from 20 to 25 of them come in vans, in private cars. They come out, watch the movie. After the movie's done, they find a nice restaurant in town and have lunch. It's exactly what we were hoping would happen post-COVID. So that's where we start them out, connecting them to a beneficial activity where they can find fellowship with other seniors in the community. From there, we jump to our Oh My Gosh, Now What series. This is a dementia information series, 6 sessions over 6 weeks, no RSV required, no cost to attend. We had it in Tacoma this last session. The next one starting May 8th, Wednesday at the Puyallup Library at 5:30. You need to come if you have a family member or friend or someone you're concerned about that may have a dementia diagnosis. You'll learn all about that, what the symptom profile looks like, what the progression of the disease is, and how to manage the behaviors that go with it. I have the flyer about that at the table there. From there, we jump into June, our Pierce County Caregiver Conference. This is where we bring together providers, professionals to speak to family members, to speak to clients suffering from dementia, and to speak to other professionals about the current research, what's available, what relief programs are available. Aaron referenced our Family Caregiver Support Program. That's one of the programs that we provide to support family caregivers. Then into the fall, we jump to our September schedule, the Pierce County Alzheimer's Disease Conference. Again, bringing together family members, professionals, caregivers. They can get continuing education credits there if they need them, so they can learn more about the disease and the current research about the disease. All these events are completely free to attend, open to any Pierce County resident, and we even get people coming from other counties to attend because we have such a robust program of these events going on. And then we close out the year with Making the Link. And I go back to connections. What do the connections mean? How do we power those connections? This is a professional meeting of service providers. We usually meet at the Star Center. Dozens of providers, hundreds and hundreds of attendees coming together to share information. What do you do? I can tell you how I serve the seniors. How can you help me serve those seniors and those older Americans in the community? So it's a big meeting of professional providers getting together in one building, all with the sole purpose of how do we better serve our older Americans in Pierce County. So we're really proud of this roster. We're so happy it's starting brand new. Plus, there's a ton of other things we have going on. So I'd love to have you stop at the table if you haven't already when you're done and get some information and let me know if there's anything more we need to have happen that's not happening right now. We'll help you out with that. I'll turn it back to Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt deserves applause. He's a busy guy. And again, if you want to connect with us or Matt or his counterpart Lindsay, who does community outreach, we are happy to partner with anybody. Or if we can come to an event or speak on a topic, Matt will have his contact information up here on the last slide. Just wanted to close out on the next slide just about highlighting something that's really important to us and kind of core and central to what we do as an organization, and that's our effort around providing culturally appropriate services and language access. I just want to say that we're not perfect, but we've tried really hard to honor the cultural and language diversity of Pierce County, and we, for years now, have really focused on hiring staff that reflect the community that we serve. And these numbers are always changing, but right now we are able to support clients in 25 different languages, and we have 65 case management staff who are bilingual or multilingual. And again, we don't have every language covered, but the major ones in Pierce County we certainly do, and usually several staff deep. And this is the right thing to do, I'm convinced, and the best way to serve our community, and has been a really important part of who we are as Aging and Disability Resources. Next slide is just our contact information. That's me and Matt. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight and talk about these wonderful services. And again, I would just close by emphasizing that we don't do it all, and we don't do this alone. And there's so many wonderful partners in this county. You heard from Bunny in Mid-County tonight, and we're grateful for all the partners that make this work happen in Pierce County. Thank you.
And hold right there. I think we may have a few questions. Okay. I'll start with Chair Mello.
Thank you, Chair Campbell. Thank you very much for being here and sharing the many programs that your division delivers for the community. Thank you for the shout out of Matt. We do see him in the community often. There's, in particular, a outreach series that this county council has been very engaged in is about getting the word out a lot more about the low-income senior property tax exemption program. Yep. And Matthew has been at every one of those in every corner of the county. The purpose of that workshop, as it's named, is to try to make applying for the low-income senior property tax exemption just easier, because it's a pretty wonky form and process. So, but we've folks like Matt have come out and really brought some extra resources to really make it a great use of time. So thank you for always finding those many ways to collaborate and take advantage of moments when people are gathering for different purposes. I did have a question about the AAA status, and is that unique to us? You said there's 13 around the state.
Yeah.
Do you find this in other major counties, or how are they organized?
It's a great question. So there's 13 and 39 counties, right, in the state. So
Right.
Obviously there's some different structures. Our most closest peer, I would say, is Snohomish County, where the AAA is housed right in county government. Kitsap is also the other one that's housed right in county government. The others are these councils of governments where they come together and form a COG, a council of government, where they have representation from each of their counties as a commissioner or a delegate, and that forms a governing board that the AAA then reports to that structure. So in Eastern Washington, that's typically the council of government form for the AAA, the sponsor.
In our case, the Area Agency on Aging is the county. It's one and the same.
That's correct. We're housed right in the Human Services Department, and yes, we are county government. Yes.
And you know, you're doing a lot in your division, really valuable programs. The resources the council appropriates to senior centers and other senior services flows through your division, but so many senior centers like this one are really on shoestring budgets, right? Yeah. So if we were to advocate to the legislature for more dollars to flow through your division, based on what you know, all the work you do at the state and applying for grants and you know, advocating, you're not allowed to lobby, you advocate legally, you advocate for dollars to flow through us so that we can get out to senior centers or do more programs for the growing population. Do you see that as a possibility, especially with the state legislature?
I would love it to be a possibility. I mean, we definitely would see that as a role for us if the state were to advocate those funds. I think they would look to the network of AAAs to be the conduit for those kind of fund sources. That Senior Citizen Services Act fund source that I referenced up there is a state general fund allocation that comes with some strings attached, but they could, for example, do a senior center allocation maybe in coordination with that fund or as part of that fund, or designate or earmark part of that money for senior centers as an idea. But you know, I think we would welcome something like that if there was an opportunity for more state dollars.
Thanks.
Sure.
It's something that really has the council's attention. You know, during the budget deliberations, it really became a high priority, and
yes,
we got to figure out how to grow the pie of revenue, and going to our state partners for more revenue might be one of those ways. So I would just encourage our council to have conversation as we begin to develop our legislative agenda for next year, that we make that a priority to try to get more dollars to then get out to good programs like this. So thank you. Thanks for answering my questions.
All right, good questions. Any other questions or comments from my colleagues? All right, seeing none, thank you so much for the work that you do. We do appreciate it. All right, one more round of applause. Thank you. All right, we have one more report, and then we'll be at community forum and then wrapping up. So, but before that, we have a performance audit report, and part of charter requirement of our performance audit committee is that when we get presentations, you know, we ask our performance audit staff to look into certain issues, compile a report, come back to the council, and then by charter we have to go out and present that at an evening meeting out in the county, so that that the citizens get the benefit of a lot of the study that we do and see how deep we look into some of the issues. And tonight we're actually taking a performance audit we had a few weeks ago on traffic fatalities here in Pierce County. So I'd like to turn it over to Bill Vetter, Pierce County Senior Policy Analyst. Mr. Vetter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the council. I'll just add that this report was presented in longer form at the committee meeting in February. It can also be found on the council's website. Before I get into some of the next slide, please. Before I get into some of the data and causes for the data, I'll summarize what the report found. First, Pierce County has the highest rate of traffic deaths for large counties in the state of Washington. Their increased traffic deaths are associated with behavioral changes of drivers. For example, more drivers not wearing seatbelts has led to more fatal accidents. Non-motorist deaths, and by that I'm talking about pedestrians and cyclists, are caused more by infrastructure factors, such as accidents that occur at night where there's poor lighting, or while a non-motorist is in the road, for lack of a crosswalk, for example. And from the research, we know that more traffic stops mean fewer serious injuries and traffic fatalities, and the absolute number of traffic stops across all police agencies in Pierce County has dropped dramatically since 2018. Next slide, please. So you can see from this chart, it's a bit small, but you can see the stark increase across the state in traffic fatalities, going from about 550 in 2019 to 750 in 2023, which is probably since the beginning of the pandemic. We saw a stark increase there. Next slide, please. This is mirrored in Pierce County's numbers. You can see the traffic fatalities around that time, 2018, started to climb, sharp increases there, including increases in driver fatalities and passenger fatalities. Next slide, please. So we looked at some of the factors associated with the increase in traffic fatality rates. One is the increased driver age. While drivers over 65 to 75 are generally safer drivers, they're almost twice as likely to die as younger drivers in a car accident. In this time period, the trend from 2020 to 2023, there's been an increase in motorcycle deaths. They in fact doubled, and about 5% of motorcycle accidents are fatal. There's been a doubling of unrestrained deaths, people not wearing seatbelts. About 5% of accidents where someone is not wearing a seatbelt is fatal. And there's been a doubling in increased drug and alcohol impairment deaths, as well as speeding deaths, which have increased by 1/3 over these last 4 years. Next slide, please. So pedestrian fatalities peaked in 2021 after a sharp increase, and have come down to below 2018 levels in 2023, but are still much higher than they have been, while serious injuries have flattened out a bit. Excuse me, I was talking about the serious injuries. Cyclist fatalities and serious injuries also gone up. In part, this could be because there's been an increased emphasis on non-motorist safety at the city, county, and state levels. So that might be part of the stabilization of these trends. Next slide. So we looked at the factors associated with non-motorist fatalities. Again, there's an increased pedestrian age. Older pedestrians are about twice as likely to die or have a serious injury when hit by cars. Accidents that occur on state routes, about 50% of fatalities occur on state routes as opposed to city streets or county roads. Accidents occurring at night, so 73% of non-motorist fatalities occur at night. Driver impairment. In 2021 and 2022, driver impairment played a major role in driving up the pedestrian fatality rate. And then finally, lack of non-motorist infrastructure. Non-motorists are more likely to die when in the roadway or crossing in a place without a crosswalk rather than in bike lanes or crosswalks. Next slide, please. I mentioned earlier the reduction in traffic stops. And you can see here since 2018, the number of traffic stops declined in 2020 and 2021 and has somewhat recovered in 2022. So what we found is that with less traffic stops, the rate of injuries and fatalities has increased. So in summary, the driver fatalities are connected to driver behavior changes around impairment, motorcycle usage, failure to use seatbelts, and speeding. Non-motorist fatalities are primarily structural in nature, connected with factors such as posted speed and infrastructure used. And then traffic stops have dropped quite a bit, and the modeling shows a connection between lack of traffic enforcement and traffic fatalities. So that's in a nutshell what we found and looking at all the data around traffic fatalities. I know that the council has been working with the Public Works Department on a program, the Vision Zero program, which is aimed at improving infrastructure so the non-motorist deaths can be reduced, and also working with the Sheriff's Department to increase sheriff staffing, which is a main driver of not having folks on the road to ticket drivers.
All right.
Do you take any questions?
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I will bring it back to the council here for any questions. And thank you for kind of summarizing there at the end of, so we get this data, what do we do with it? Well, we've been able to already take this data. We work with our Sheriff's Department to collect it and to show them where we need to be making sure that we're fully staffing the traffic enforcement department that can go out and focus on problem spots across the county. And we've heard from our Sheriff's Department that hiring is up and they're starting to rebuild up their ranks. They went through a time when they didn't have a lot of deputies, and so traffic enforcement was the one area where they had to pull back officers to make sure that when you picked up 911 and made that call that you would get someone responding. How frustrating that would be to call 911, not get a call, but you see a sheriff parked alongside the road because they're going after speeders. So we need to make sure we're able to do the basic core mission there, and then now start working on areas where we know that we've got more speeders going on. We're implementing the Vision Zero program, which I'll actually let Councilmember Mello talk a little bit about, and then also working on piloting some traffic cameras, speed cameras around school zones, so that when kids during the half an hour in the morning, the afternoon, when kids are coming and going from schools, and I believe one of the pilot ones we have is actually right out here on 104th in front of the school here. So this will be one of the areas where we'll actually be testing it and creating safe routes to school right here in this community. Did you want to share a little bit more about Vision Zero?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, Vision Zero has been a really important program for the council and the county. In the Pierce County area, actually, every 8 days, someone is hit walking or biking in Pierce County. Not just kids walking to school, adults doing their thing. Every 8 days in Pierce County, someone is hit walking or biking around. It's pretty astounding when you think of it like that. The council directed the Public Works Department to embark on this Vision Zero program. Vision Zero means that we have a vision that by a date certain we won't have any fatalities or serious injuries related to vehicle fatalities. So the date is 2035 that we've set as a goal to by then. We're going to work our way there. By 2035, the goal is to have no serious injuries or fatalities because of due to these sorts of vehicle incidents. So it's a big goal. It's a worthy. We want zero. We want zero tomorrow, right? But we have a lot of things to do to get there. We have a lot of infrastructure we need to fix. There's, as is illustrated, there are a lot of folks who do walk around, kids walking to school or other people just going about their day. There's not sidewalks. There's not the proper infrastructure. Sometimes our infrastructure is such that it really encourages speeding because the roads are so wide, and when cars see really wide roads and not visual cues to slow down, or speed bumps or other infrastructure cues, whether they be speed bumps or narrow roads, narrower than something you put a 747 down on. It makes people go really, really fast in neighborhoods or anywhere. It makes folks go really fast. So that it's all kinds of different tools. But the reason why it takes so long to get there is we have a lot of infrastructure investments to make it safer, to drive safer, to walk around safer, to bike around safer, education of all kinds for drivers and walkers and bikers, and enforcement. So there's a lot to the program. We got a federal grant to do this planning, and the Planning and Public Works Department of the county is in the middle actually of doing robust community engagement about what hotspots do you see in your neighborhood. So look out if you're interested in this topic. If you live in Councilmember Campbell's district, I'm sure his office will, or any of us will get you the information about a community engagement opportunity related to that. So thanks for letting me share a little bit.
Thank you for that. Any other questions from colleagues about the presentation? All right. Mr. Vetter, thank you and your office for all the work that you do and for the presentation. One of the valuable pieces of going out into with the in-district meetings is coming out into the community and then hearing from you, the citizens. And so that's why we have community forum here, so that we can hear from you some of the issues that you're concerning. I think we got a sign-in sheet that is making its way up here right now for a few people who signed in. If you didn't get signed in, you'll have an opportunity to still speak. But we're going to go off the sheet here. Community forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address the council on any topic of significance to or affecting Pierce County government that did not appear on today's agenda. There's a 3-minute limit, and what do we have for timer on the 3-minute limit? Will it be? Oh, we have a little kitchen timer. Denise is always here with her kitchen there, and it will be straight ahead there counting down. All right. When you come up to speak, please state your name if you'd like it on the record, and address all comments to the chair. And we'll start with those in chambers, and I think I have Marlene as the first one who said that she wants to speak.
Can you make it to the mic?
Do we have a?
Yes, I have quite a bit to say.
Oh, okay. And that'll be followed by Larry Voland and maybe Gabe.
First of all, I am a registered nurse, 3-year grad. I am a professional auctioneer. Third, the 29th Democratic and Republican precinct has to get the speed limit lower on South 48th and Orchard, and that other street that runs from South Tacoma Way up to 56th and Orchard. Second, this building here, the leadership, the followers, the volunteers, they need to have a stipend kind of mileage thing put on their, what do you call that thing? I don't know what you want to call the thing. They are fantastic. Third, the acoustics in this building, for lack of another word, this pulpit should be over there because the building was built whenever it was built by a group of people that put it the wrong way. Fourth, I better keep my mouth shut or they're going to have the policeman sending me to the jail.
Could you Well, we wouldn't want the police doing that there, Marlene. Thank you for your comments. Larry Voling?
It could be a hard act to follow. I'm Larry Volland. I'm a current board member, past president, co-founder of the Summer Community Association 31 years ago, 1993. We've been very active ever since. I'm still proud to be on the board of the Summer Community Association. We've worked on many issues over the years that have helped to make Summit Waller a really good place to live. Our boundary lines are Pioneer Way to the north, SR 512 to the south, Woodland over on the east, and 22nd Avenue kind of in the Midland area on the west. We have accomplished some of the current things we're really working on is like the farm at 96 and Waller. We helped encourage we made it so that the Franklin Pierce School District would be in their best interest to take that property and start growing food for the lunch programs. And now the Conservation District is growing food for food banks there. And now there's a building being built, which we requested that they incorporate the curriculum into the farm, and they're in the process of doing that. So high school kids can get credits for knowing how to grow food and such. We're also heavily involved and have been for years and years. I, with a group of other people, helped the county buy what is now Orange Gate Park from the Department of Natural Resources back in 1993 for around $1 million. And with Conservation Futures, we're happy with what's going on with Pipeline Trail and Orange Gate Park. We've also been involved with helping to craft the current fireworks laws in the county. And I just attended the Puyallup City Council meeting on Tuesday, and they're considering whether to institute a ban on fireworks in the city of Puyallup. And of course, the mayor of Puyallup is a former student of mine, who's a seventh grader, a little guy walking around, seventh grade, and a former next door neighbor is also on the Puyallup City Council as well. I would like to welcome everybody. If you're interested, if you live within the Summer Waller community and you would like to know more about our organization, we have a table over there with our latest newsletter. We have a spring cleanup, Adopt a Road on Waller Road, coming up on May 18th, and our annual membership and community meeting in this very room will be on May the 7th, Tuesday, and we'll have speakers there for you to enjoy and learn from. Thank you very much.
All right, and next we have Robert Swenson. Mr. Swenson, it says you have many things that interest you.
Good evening. My name is Robert Swenson. I notice here we are thanking and congratulating each other repeatedly about what a good job we're doing and how much we got to offer. But the question keeps coming to me, how come every day when I leave the house I see people sleeping on the side of the road and holding up signs saying that anything will help? A lot of those people are seniors, and the ones that aren't seniors still need help. And so I'm confused about how we're doing so much, yet I look at this every day. I'm tired of looking at it, and I also think it's a national disgrace. Thank you.
And then I have, I think, is it Danny or Donnie?
Danny Houston. My name's Danny Houston. I want to thank the council members for letting me speak here tonight. I've never been to one of these meetings. I was one about a year and a half ago on the project that they're going on out there by Spanaway Loop Highway. But I want to thank Bunny, where's she at? Oh, I wasn't very late. No, I've been coming here for about 2 years. I haven't been here too much lately. I had a total knee replacement in January. But the people here are so friendly, so nice, and they have so many good services here. And when I come here, I see so many smiles, and it just makes me feel so good to come here. And for her and all their volunteers do a tremendous job here. And the ones that I've been to before, and I won't mention their names because I don't want to throw any senior centers and places under the bus, this is by far the best. She knows it. I've told her a lot of times. But anyhow, I just want to thank everybody for letting me speak here. And it's just very enjoyable to come here. And the meals are great. You can't beat them. For $3.50, go try to go to McDonald's or Burger King and see what they charge you now. Thank you very much.
That was all that had signed up that indicated they wanted to speak, but anyone else, just make your way up there and introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Becky Cleveland, and I volunteer here at the community center, and I also have to thank Bunny, and everyone here. It's a wonderful organization. What I'm here for tonight is the fireworks and everything that's at the tribal. And I've contacted Marty a few times. I've talked to the Indians. I live off 48th and Vickery. Okay, a lot of us knew the dairy when it was a dairy, and my property was one of the original ones that used to take their milk and everything to Faith. It's coincidental when I was pulling up the rural separator area here, and to think that in March of 2015, in this building right here, they had a meeting to add more attachments to how the property is going to be used around here in the rural separator. And the Indians have not gone by any of the rules. And honestly, when you talk about it, and I've talked to some of them, they're my friends. I have some of them, they're my neighbors. Okay, when they started the rural separator, and they had many things in 2000 that was for like the tribal salmon hatchery and everything else to make it to where it's more of a refuge for our animals, small farms, produce, everything that we have here. It's a beautiful area, this whole area, and we're losing it. And when they changed it over from a dairy, and they bought it, and now they started with the drugs, selling marijuana, and the last few years, they're fireworks. Well, last year, it went for a whole month, and then during the December. Okay, we all have, almost everyone around me has farm animals, some kind of an animal. We can't put them on sedatives for a month. And there have been accidents, and animals, horses going through barbed wire and different things. And the police say, we can't do anything about it. The Indians say they can, sorry, but the fireworks come first. And they say that they won't shoot there, but they do. For 4 days after 4th of July, it looked like a bomb hit it. It took 4 days for them to clean up the messes. I want to know what you guys are going to do. I mean, this is a major problem, and it's not safe. They are being directed from Tacoma. They get directed off of Waller Road to 48th and down Vickery. It takes in that 2 miles from 48th to or to where they are, it takes 45 minutes because it's so crowded buying the fireworks that people buy for anywhere in the county or anywhere else.
Right.
I'm sorry, that was probably my beeps. But we need your help. I mean, I've contacted, most of my neighbors have, and it's not safe for anyone around here when all of this is going on. And,
Thank you.
okay,
We'll be discussing, you and I will be talking more.
thank you.
Thank you. I want to check, is the microphone working okay there?
I think so.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. My name is Melody Stepp, and I'm a member of the Parkland Community Association. And 2 years ago, next month, a group of Parkland residents and some others got together, and we found out from Janie Hitchin that a school, a beloved school in the area, Parkland School, on the corner of 121st and Pacific, it's a big 36,000 square foot school, was potentially sold and was slated for demolishment. And a bunch of strangers at the time became united, and we formed the PCA, a nonprofit organization, and we went out to the community and asked them what they thought about it and what they'd like to see. And we were told a community center with resources would be what the community wanted. So we got to work and began a campaign with the help of Janie Hitchin and with Marty Campbell and many others. And we started raising funds to be able to purchase the building. And we even had a birthday party for it last year, 115th year-old birthday party for the school. And I'm here to tell you tonight that next month we look forward to closing on the building. Yeah. And it is going to be the Parkland Community Center. So I just wanted to share that with everyone tonight. Thank you.
And it may be named the Parkland Community Center, but it belongs to all of us here in Pierce County, and everyone will be welcome to go to it. Anyone else wishing to make comment tonight? Anyone else? Okay, seeing none in the room. We are actually being broadcast live online, and so I'll check with Mr. Weinsberry there to see if anyone online who's been watching this wants to make comment.
Yes, sir. Stand by. For any members of... Check, 1, 2, there we go. For any members of the public who wish to provide comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. And start the share for a second. And I'm seeing no hands at this time, Vice Chair.
All right.
Or Chair.
Not seeing any hands online, I will go ahead and close the public comment, bring it back to the council for any last comments. We don't do a lot of back and forth, but we do sometimes like to address some of the issues. Yes, fireworks. I've already had some conversations with the tribe already this year. As many of us know who've been working on it, it's conversation is about all that we have. We don't have any legal jurisdiction to go in there and dictate, but we've kept open communications through the years and helped mitigate a lot of things along the way, and we're going to continue to do what we can. And so hopefully we can get some more work done on that. I can talk with you afterwards a little bit more.
Why did you allow them to buy the property if you knew they were doing this? And
Well, we didn't allow them to buy the property. We wouldn't be able to dictate what they can and can't do on their own lands. They have federal sovereignty over us, but we will continue to keep open communication with them. But we had no authority to stop a sale or anything.
restrictions for these areas. You might as well just rip these up and say, well, sorry, if you're...
Thank you. And Mr. Swenson, I think you talked about homeless in the area, and we all we see it too, and we're working hard. We've started a select committee on homelessness among the council to try to work a little bit more cross-jurisdictionally to address the issue as we can. I just had a report the other night that in Pierce County there was about 935 shelter beds, and about 900 were full. So we have a lack of sometimes places for people to get into, and it might sound like 35 are available, but a lot of them might have restrictions on them, like for a family with children or a veteran or some restrictions that we want to make sure that we have it for anyone with that higher barrier of need, so it's immediately accessible. We are doing more work in providing. We'd love to. I think there's a piece in the News Tribune today on a unified regional approach to actually look at things as a more comprehensive regional approach. So we see the people. You're right. It is not humane for what many of these people live in, and so we are continuing to work on it, and it has been a large focus for this council.
I realize it's a big problem, but we can't give up on it.
This council's not giving up on it. I can promise you that. And Parkland School Group, congratulations. Any other comment from our committee members here? With no other business, Councilmember Herrera. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for talking about how great this place is. Even if there was no federal dollars coming or county dollars coming here, it comes from the volunteers. And it's a testament to the volunteers that you're running this place of how well it is. With or without the money, you have a lot of money one year, not the other. You continue to do the good work here, and that's got to come from the heart, most definitely. So it's definitely recognized. Not all community centers are equally yoked, and it's a testament of the volunteers that are there that makes it happen. So. Thank you for having it here today and to highlight this place. I've never been here before, and it's good to hear good things coming out of here. So thank you, Chair.
Well, if you ever want an ice cream social and to call bingo, they'd love to have you here. I'm going to get all of you signed up for it here. All right. Checking to see if there's any other comments. Not seeing any. Thank you all very much for coming out and spending your evening with us. With no further business before the council, we are adjourned.